Hey, yeah, this video, it's what I wanted to make before, and I'm cooking some food in the oven, so I got time to make it real quick. And this is probably going to be like a little bit of a series of the getting to know me about a specific time of my life thing and advice and stuff just for people. And not necessarily advice, but just my recommendations or stuff like that. Because I know a lot of the people that will at least watch me on my other channel are younger than I am. A lot of them are either in high school or about to finish high school or in college and stuff. So I'm a little older than most of you guys. So there's things I've done and seen that maybe you haven't. So these are things that I can talk about that may help you or may interest you or something like that. And this is going to be about college and what to expect and what I think are good aspects and bad aspects about it. All right, so what I want to recommend to everyone, if they can, I understand certain situations are not the best for this, but if you can go to college, I suggest you go away for college if at all possible, even if it's only like even if it's in like the same state and it's like a town or less than an hour or two away, something where you don't really live at home with your parents anymore, or if you can afford it or get the funds to like stay in the dorm or something like that. It's really a good life experience for you. And you also still have the safety net of, your parents, unless they're assholes, still probably think of you as a child and, help you out and stuff when you need it and can accept that. And because you're still in school, so most of them, at least if I was a parent and I had a kid in college, I wouldn't be as hard pressed on them to be completely grown up yet, if you know what I mean. But you can still experience some of life's trials and tribulations and great fun times. Because when I went to college, it was probably the first time that I was living on my own without like my mom or something. And it's a different experience. And you kind of have to grow and learn how to do things. And hopefully, if you had good parents, they kind of didn't baby you too much and you knew how to do things. Because I knew some people and they really couldn't do anything on their own. Like they didn't know how to do laundry and cook and stuff like that. Those are things you need to know, especially if you're going to live on your own. And hopefully your parents kind of provided you with some of the basics in that. And, you get to go and you get to try those and you get to learn and you make your mistakes and that stuff. You'll have some hard times and you'll have some fuck ups and mistakes and stupid shit you do. Don't get me wrong, but those will help you grow and develop and hopefully not make you a bitter old man like I became, but rather make you like a more well-rounded human being and a better person overall and get some life experiences. And I can't say I've got like the most life experiences in the world because mine are lackluster, but college was probably where I gained a lot of them and not always the good kind of life experiences. And that's what I'll be talking about like in this series as I go on. This is just kind of like an intro thing where I just, recommend that if you can, that going away to college is probably for the best. Getting on your own, even if you live in like a dorm with like someone else, living with someone else, that actually helps you learn how to get along with people. A lot of people end up being roommates and stuff like that. You learn how to live with people you haven't lived with before. Some people might have better experience with that to start with, while some don't. And I definitely understand, and this isn't frowning upon people who live at home and go to college, because trust me, that can be a lot easier on everybody, financially, emotionally, everything. But if you can, and it is something you would like to experience, I can recommend it. No matter what the bad comes with the good, that you should try it. Really, you really should. For me, it kind of worked out a little bit better because when I went to college with with my friends from high school, some of them. And so I got to roommate with my best friend from high school in college, so that made it a lot easier because at least it's someone I know fairly well, even though we hadn't like lived together or nothing. But it made it a little bit easier and not as awkward as like living with somebody you have no clue who they are. So you got to get to know them. You got to know what you can and you can't do. Plus, when you're on your own for your first time like that in your way, you ain't going to have your parents nagging you about stupid little shit you do. And don't take this as me recommending you do some of this stupid shit that I've done. But, in my opinion, it's all part of growing up. But as a fair warning, be careful and don't do something you can't change or take back. There was a few things that I did that never really were too horrible, never were any super, super tragic mistakes I made. It wasn't like I ended up killing somebody or killing myself or getting addicted to crack cocaine or anything like that. So just, keep your head about you, but try and experience some things and have some fun. Because if you just go to college and all you do is study and learn and shit, which is great. I'm a big proponent of learning and knowledge and stuff. I really love all that stuff. But it's also life experience that you need to pick up on. The things you don't learn in classes, those things that will mold you into an adult for the future, those things that you will look back on later and either laugh, cry, or be angry about, those things that make you who you will become. And yeah, you could have had some of those in high school, and depends on what you did, but it's a different world if you're not living with your parents and having them provide everything for you. When we were in college, freshman year, we had to get like meal plans and shit, and they were like required for freshmen. But you get to, you do your own shopping and stuff. You make your own decisions. You want to do this, you want to do that. Some of the decisions I made were bad. Some of the decisions I made were good. Some of the decisions I made were what the fuck. But those are things that you can't really just get without trying things. And don't be peer pressured into anything. If you don't think it's something you want to do, then don't do it. But if it's something that you think you shouldn't do just because it's maybe frowned upon or something, maybe you should give it a shot. But just moderation. Take it easy. Don't, because I'm not one of these people, people and some parents and some pundits will tell you, don't ever do this, don't have sex, don't drink, don't do it, don't. That's not what people want to hear. And also, it's not what reality is either. The more you tell them not to do it, the more they'll go and do it. And because it's human nature and we can't help doing things like that. It's like saying, don't breathe, don't eat, don't do this. That's why I was upset the other day because I told my friend not to do something that I felt was stupid, and whatever. And maybe that's that. And that's also part of the way the parents do it too. But the thing is, you have to, even if you don't agree or your parents are concerned or whatever, the best way to go about it is not to just tell them not to do it, but just tell them that be careful and think before you act. That's really a good key, and it's hard to do. Even I struggle with that sometimes. And then even if I do think, it's hard to make a completely great decision, if you know what I mean. So those are just things you have to watch in college and in real life in general. You don't want to make a mistake you're going to have to regret and pay for the rest of your life. So that's one thing you have to watch out for. But don't live sheltered in your room, and don't do stuff like that, not to get to know people and shit like that. Go to some parties, do shit like that. Let's see what else. And if you can, don't get 8 o'clock in the morning classes. Trust me, they're not good. What else? And be careful what you decide to major in. Because I know I really didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do when I went to college, so I just picked something. So if you don't really know, it might be best to start out your first semester or year doing the basic shit, and then figuring it out later. Because if you go so far into one thing, it's hard to turn back if you've wasted all these credits that won't apply to something else, and so you almost have to start over again. And you don't want to have to do that. That's a big hassle. Because I didn't, I'm not going to reveal everything right in this video, but this is just my go to college if you can, live on your own if you can, as in the dorms or room with some friends that you trust. But you have to be careful. Be careful with the people that you trust, and especially when it comes to bills and paying bills if you're in a roommating with people. Don't have everything in your name. You need to make sure everything is. If you got electricity in your name, they need to have phone or cable or rent or something in their name. And usually, I think nowadays, most leases, if you're going to have a bunch of people, like, you would probably have to have all their names on it so they could all be kind of responsible for it. And don't go into these situations lightly, because sometimes people will surprise you, even if you think they're your friend or whatever. I've seen it happen time in and time again. They don't pay the rent, they don't pay the light bill, and then you're like, fuck it, I want lights, I'm responsible, I'm going to have to pay this. And then you have to struggle to deal with that. You don't want to have to do that, especially if you're in college and you got all that already. And if you're working, it's a hard thing to do. So yeah, that's that. Go to college, live on your own, and I will continue more with these videos as time permits and I think about stuff. We'll go from like how things started for me to how they went downhill or uphill or whichever. I'll leave it a mystery. Although I think I ruined it, but relationships, stuff like that happened in college, everything like that, the best that I can remember from those times, and stupid shit I did. There'll be some funny stories and some shit that'll be like, what the fuck? And there'll be some shit that it will be one of those don't go down that path stories, if you will. So let me know if you're in college already, let me know how you're liking it and what you're doing. If you're living at home or you're on your own, what do you prefer? Or if you haven't gone to college, feel free to ask me some questions about it, and I'll try and respond to them when I do the videos or, comments and whatnot. Just all that stuff, and look forward to hearing about things. Let's see, what else is there? And the other stuff, like, I've come to terms with my emotional problems lately. So unless something happens, everything with that should be fine. I dealt with it okay. Overthought it. That's what I do sometimes, guys. Yeah. And although there could be something else, because something else will come up. And if it is, of course, I will share it with you. But as of now, this is getting backstory of my life. This is a flashback. These are going to be flashback episodes, if you're familiar with the anime manga type thing. And yes, I talk way too much, and yeah, don't forget, let me know what you think. And I don't do the whoring out in these videos, because these are just like personal little, if you care enough or you want, or you're interested, things like that, then feel free to watch and comment. But I don't promote it, because it isn't me trying to become anything special. It's just me getting shit off my chest and trying to help people, what small amount that I do have to help people with. Like, you can learn from other people's experiences and mistakes as well. You don't always have to learn from your own. So remember that.